Hi all, my name is Ashish. I'm from Lifesight. I am from the marketing team. For those of you who are not aware of what Lifesight does, we've been there 5, 6 years, enabling huge enterprise brands with footfall measurement, out of home solutions. And then today we are one growth pilot for every growing digital business out there. May it be you're an enterprise or a mid market, we are here to enable you to grow your acquisition efforts, get you more customers, engage them better, and also ability to have a centralized database, centralized customer data platform, which would enable you to find better opportunities to get your customers and provide a great customer experience, right? So with that, we will start our demo today, right? So our demo is focused on primarily showcasing how Lifesight Measure, multi-touch attribution, and media buying works. Multi-touch attribution and media buying has been there for quite some time. While multi-touch attribution helps in a lot of ways, we've also seen that with a lot of inaccuracy with reporting in third-party ad channels coming in and third-party cookies getting cleared, we are in the stage of figuring out how to make decisions on clear understanding of our customer journeys and how to primarily also allocate budgets, right? So today I have with me Shubham and Deepak. Shubham is a marketing mix modeling expert at Lifesight. I also have with me Deepak, who is a multi-touch attribution expert at Lifesight. Three questions that we feel, and we've also talked to a lot of people, right? And this is coming out from the market, is that marketers nowadays, run a lot of experiments at scale, right? So when you run your marketing experiments at scale, you need to be daily ingrained with what is working, what creatives are working, what channels are working, right? Which channels do I really invest more on? Which creatives should I really invest more on? Is the numbers which has been shown on your CAC ROAS really true, right? How do you define that, right? And what kind of decisions can you take for your business to that may be increasing your orders, increasing your app installs, right? How can you make those decisions by putting in larger budgets? It can be $1 million, it can be $50 million, right? The equation will come to how precise is the data that you have to build the model and how that model can be scaled in an automated fashion so that it can train better to provide you great decisions that you can make for your business, right? And then eventually, once you reach a stage where you have a great model, when you want to question that, hey, if I invest, say, $10 million more on my current channels and campaigns, how much incremental value can I get for your business? So that's what we're here to answer. Also, we'll be showing you how to do that as well. Bit of background on multi-touch attribution, right? We realize that the customer journey is not anymore one stage to another stage, right? You might be viewing an ad on Facebook, going to a website, checking it out, and you might be getting retargeted with the ad back again, and you might be going on YouTube and trying to just find the interest of your choice and and you might get shown the ad again, and then you might go for a purchase, but you would still not purchase, right? So we see that customer journey now is so much segregated but interconnected in its own fashion that non-linear purchase journeys is something that I think right now how the world functions, right? How each one of us functions. So in that period of time, it's important to understand what channel provided the first click for that particular ad campaign or what channel gave you the purchase back again. So that's what we're here to talk about, how multi-touch attribution can solve that for you. And we'll also show you on how that is done within Lifesight Measure. With mobiles coming in, we've seen that it was better. We all got the arsenal to track everyone from their devices and everything. But moving on, with even third-party cookies going out of the way, it's important to understand that even if you adopt something like a marketing mix modeling or incrementality measurements coming forward to help you, clean data is also really important to help you grow. And the marketing mix model can really work better with better data that you give. And then also with all the historical data that sits with you right now, how businesses operate is by having a lot of data scientists or consultants who sit with us for a longer period of time in order to make decisions for primarily, getting more revenue for your business. And that should be changed, right? We are sitting in the dawn of having all the technology possible to productize this entire experience and modernize this, right? So with that, I would love to give the button to Deepak, who will touch more upon multi-touch attribution and how it's done within LifeSight.
Thanks, Ashish. Let's first talk about what Lifesight Measure is, right? Measure is a privacy first marketing measurement suite. It lets you accurately measure the impact of your media spend and validate your ad strategy, right? The why part of things is simple. A modern marketer faces multiple challenges. Um, it can be optimizing my ad spend as a marketer. It can be that Apple's taking away a lot of the data that I could be using to track my campaigns. We've seen that with the old iOS 14 update and the soon to be released iOS 17 update, right? In-platform reporting is inaccurate and it doesn't line up with my store numbers, right? IDs and cookie signals are weakening, and I can't map out my customer journeys. These are very common challenges that I would face as a marketer, and thus the need for a tool like Lifesight Measure. So now we'll jump into how exactly we're getting around and solving these challenges, right? Um, so the way Lifesight enables you to future-proof your measurements is basically a three-pronged approach. One is multi-touch attribution for day-to-day decision making as per industry standards. You get to monitor your return on ad spend and customer acquisition costs for your campaigns, drilling down all the way up to ad level, right? This lets you develop hypotheses, uh, which you can actually test with experiments, right? And this leads neatly into the incrementality testing piece. This piece lets you validate your experiments by running these on your ad channels like Facebook, using the Lifesight platform. And finally, to cover the gaps of multi-touch attribution, we have MMM, that's marketing mix modeling or media mix modeling. This is used to make advanced KPI predictions and budget allocations. Um, Now, it's important to note that both MTA and incrementality testing pieces can be used to calibrate the MM models that you develop on the platform. I'll let Shubham speak about this when we get to the MM demo, but it neatly fits into this trifecta that you can see here on this slide. Let's first focus on multi-touch attribution, right? So as a primer, the multi-touch attribution model it's very useful when you want to give credit to multiple channels that a customer interacted with before converting. For example, if a customer sees your ad on social media, then visits your website, doesn't purchase, reads an email from you a while later, and then converts, our linear attribution model would give credit to each of these channels with 50%. So 50% of the conversion goes to both these channels that I mentioned. It's a great way to get around the disadvantages of using a single credit system like first touch or last touch attribution. One. Now, some of the benefits of MTA before we jump into the actual demo, right? One is you get to see how much each channel actually contributed towards converting a customer. You get to see the stages of a customer journey, and MTA automatically takes into account longer and shorter journeys. We actually assign fraction credit where necessary, and this helps you understand the journeys that customers take on your brand on the way to a conversion. So this is a view into what the attribution dashboard looks like, right? So let's start off with the most important things, that is the filters that you need to keep in mind when looking at your data, right? So in this case, we give you a filter to select the time period where you want to see your orders. In this case, I've selected the last 12 months. I select the model that I'd like to see the data through, the lens through which I'd like to view the data. In this case, for this example, I have selected last touch attribution, and the attribution window is set to a smaller period of 2 days, right? Now, the idea is all the metrics that you see here, we split by total as well as new customer. So in this case, you can see that I have my total revenue as well as my new customer revenue. It's very important when you're actually seen these metrics to understand that you don't just want to churn out existing customer base, you want to bring in new customers as well. That's the rationale through which we split all metrics by total as well as new customer. So you get to see the total attributed revenue here, the new customer revenue. Moving on to the return on ad spend, again split by total as well as new customer, right? So in this case, you can see that this is demo data. So the ROAS numbers are relatively smaller, so 0.17 return on ad spend. The blended ad spend across all the channels, all the ad channels that you connected to the Lifesight platform, right? So you connect your Facebook, Google, uh, TikTok, Snap, and Pinterest accounts. And we blend all the return on ad spend values together and show it here. Of course, it's also split by new customer. We move on to the average order values, again split by total new customer. Your customer acquisition costs, which are again blended. So what we do here is we basically take your total ad spend across all your channels and we divide that by the number of acquired customers, right? So that gives you a good idea of your blended customer acquisition cost. And finally, you get to see at a whole your blended ad spend and total impressions, so you get an idea of what activities been like over this period, right? Then we move on to the channel performance view, which is actually a very handy way to see the correlation between your spend and your revenue that you're getting per channel. So in this particular case, since Facebook, the example is quite small, you can see that the spend and revenue numbers are actually visible here. Then one of the most important views we have is the attribution overview, right? So the idea here is we show you your channel along with the channel reported numbers and the Lifesight numbers, right? So you get to see a side-by-side comparison of, I guess, some of the inaccuracies that channels often show with respect to their attribution numbers. So in this case, you can see that Facebook is responsible for 38 purchases, which correspond to a value of $75,000, right? The channel, in this case, Facebook is reporting a return on ad spend of just over 3, where we know the actual number is only 0.45, right? So this is obviously an exaggerated example. But again, we're considering these filters that you see here for last touch attribution with a window of 2 days. Facebook only gave you a return on ad spend of 0.45. So you spent a total of $168,000, after which you got a conversion value of $75,000. And your customer acquisition cost in this case is very high. It's around $5,800, right? Of course, this is all split by total as well as new customer. You get to see the same thing for all the different channels that you connect onto the Lifesight platform. Now, very importantly, you also get to see the customer journeys that actually happened on your site or store, right? So I first put up a simple example for you to see here. You can see that in this case, people who actually interacted with Sendee touchpoint, which is the first touchpoint, a lot of them converted directly after this touchpoint, but a small fraction of them converted after seeing another Sendee touchpoint. So in this case, you can see there are 2 touchpoints before a conversion event. That's what this aims to show. It's a similar case when you look at other channels as well, right? There are different paths to conversion, and that's what we highlight with the customer journeys view, right? All the different paths to conversion. So for this particular case, you can see that out of the $23,000 that were actually gotten because of Jasmine being the initial touch point for customers, 14,000 of them happened directly after the first touch point. Let's say 8,000 of them happened after the second touch point. And finally, we have 5,000 of which happened after a third touch point. That's it. Now, these journeys can get quite complex depending on how you set up your campaigns and how customers are actually interacting with these campaigns. So we show all of that here for you to actually dig into, right? So the idea here is to find out which channels are actually getting people to your store and which channels are actually responsible for conversions along different stages, right? That's the main point of this particular view. We also show you the average time between each stage as well, right? So it tells you how often people are interacting with different customer touch and with different ad channel touch points on your site or store, right? Now, we don't limit it to just the channel view. Of course, you get to drill down a bit deeper into this as well. So let me just switch data and show you what that looks like. So in this case, you can see that I have a Facebook channel here, which gives me certain metrics, right? So we see the same metrics here: the customer acquisition cost, as well as the channel reported ROAS and the modern ROAS, the Lifesight ROAS. But you can see that as we drill down, we're actually able to see this for the campaigns, ad sets, and ads, right? So in this case, you can see these are all the different campaigns that I have on my Facebook channel. I can drill down into the ad set view, which gives me metrics for the ad group as well. So for all of these, we give you the same information, your child reported revenue as well as the revenue that we report through the platform. So you get to see a comparison and side by side view, right? So that's where the true, I guess, benefit of this kind of approach lies. You get to see how your channel reporting it as well as how we tell you the actual numbers are. You get to see a side by side comparison. We also show you what the channel reports as your return on ad spend and our true ad spend here. Similarly with the CAC can and CAC numbers. The most important thing to note here is we can drill down all the way up to the ad level from a channel. So that goes through channel, campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Now, of course, there are some limitations of the multi-touch attribution approach, which is what we'll cover in our MM and incrementality testing parts. And this is where I'll hand it over to Shubham to continue with that part of the demo.
That was a great demo, Deepak. Also, folks, while Deepak definitely showed a lot of functionality of how the multi-touch attribution works, we have definitely worked with the Source brand, as you can see here, right? So the whole journey was pretty great, where they came in and we figured that they were facing huge issues with existing tool that they were using, inadequate numbers. They were really unable to verify that entire observation of which customers are coming from where, how much are they spending, which channels are really giving them better ROI. Their goals are very, very clear with respect to, hey, I want to make sure that my ROAS is good for Google and TikTok. So we were able to provide that to them. And as we provided them better ROAS from Google and TikTok, it was also key for the business to understand that the cost that they were spending on acquiring and even retargeting new customers from Facebook also had to be reduced. So our attribution platform provided, a 20% reduction, and that's quite a good number for any large-scale business to have that reduced, so that there's better optimization on the cost, and that cost could be spent in TikTok and Google and get more revenue and orders into the store. While this is great for the business, also for folks to have that clarity on everyday ROAS and CAC, we were able to provide them better capture of all the events from different ad channels. So feel free to book a demo, and we will be happy to understand more about your current issues with attribution and help you solve the game as well. So with that, I'll also hand over the next session primarily on marketing mix modeling and how that works within Lifesight Measure to Shubham. Shubham, your stage.
Thanks, Ashish. We have heard Deepak just now, who explained that what are different type of measure tools which Lifesight provides. So on the screen, what you are seeing right now is the entire attribution stack, which is existing in marketing measurement, and which has been categorized into four types basically: experiment, tracking, modeling, and surveys. And they are also arranged from lesser sophistication to higher sophistication. So in this, there are tools which many of you would have heard in each category. For example, in experiments, we do A/B testing, we have split testing, geo experiments, and then the tracking, which we just saw the multi-touch attribution. It's all about tracking that we track server-side events and map them to conversions and so on. Similarly, in the modeling, the one technique which we are going to see today is marketing mix modeling, but there are other techniques as well, like causal inference, competitive active macro trends, device fingerprinting, etc., where the focus is not on tracking each event or each individual, but rather looking at the data and finding patterns out of it to measure the performance of ad campaigns. Similarly, there are techniques in surveys. A very common one is the post-purchase surveys, where we take opinion of users in where they are coming from, what is the source of from which they looked at the advertisement campaign and then converting. So these are the all type of techniques which exist in the attribution stack, and a combination of them is mostly required to measure that performance correctly, because measurement is a very complex process and there are no definite answers. So one of these techniques we just saw was the tracking technique, that multi-touch attribution. And now we would look at the second technique in the modeling sphere, that is marketing mix modeling. Marketing mix modeling is basically an statistical regression based technique which utilizes machine learning as well nowadays to study the data properly. So basically what it does, it takes historical aggregated data, and without using of any individual identifiers or anything like that, based on the historical aggregated data of ad spend, based on the historical aggregated data of KPI, and any other internal or external contextual or variables which may affect the business. It takes them, build the models on that, and then evaluate what is the performance of each and every advertisement channel has been on the business. And it can evaluate impact on any business KPI, be it revenue, be it KPIs like, let's say, other application installs you are getting, visits you are having on your digital website or a physical store. So impact of advertisement channels on any KPI using all the factors which may impact the business, both internal and external. That's what MMM does. And nowadays, with the use of the latest techniques, MMM helps like maintaining the fresh data every time. Otherwise, conventionally, it was difficult to refresh the model at very fast, higher frequency, because it was a manual process and requires lots of time. What does marketing mix modeling does? How it builds the model, how it sees the insights, and what impact it creates. So basically, as we were seeing earlier, what it does, it collect all relevant factors which might impact business. Now, those factors, whether they were the promotions which a business does, the online or offline media spends which business is doing, the distribution network or the pricing changes which business does, or external factors like, let's say, competitor sales, how the competitor sales has been varying, or how the general trend of that category of the business is varying, or how the seasons or holidays may impact the business. So it takes all of that into account, all of those factors, use statistics and machine learning on that to find patterns out of the data, and then predict the performance of ad spend. So we'll see in the next slide that what exact insights we get from it, and how the MMM model can further be used. For example, it leads to improvement in effectiveness of the activity. Like, we can basically create multiple scenarios and get insights from that, get predictions from that. Then we can also use another measurement technique, that is incrementality experiment, get incremental lift out of it, and use that to calibrate model. Okay, so MMM has been in used for quite some time. I mean, it is as old as the attribution is, but up till now it has been mainly been used by very bigger brands who are working with specialized agencies and data scientists to run MMM model, to collect all data, prepare data, run MMM model, and then get insights from that. So this has been used for quite some time, and more recently, with privacy focus going on, and with the deprecation of cookies and tracking data becoming more and more difficult, more brands coming out and voicing their opinion in favor of MMM, and considering it as a, I mean, the very much alternative of the other measurement techniques in the privacy focus. How MMM helps, like what are the different insights we get? What is the use of MMM model? One is basically do the measurement. While what I mean by doing the measurement is getting to know how ad channels are performing, what is the return ROAS or CPA of the ad investment we are getting. That is one part. Second is to optimize. So we are investing a particular media budget on each of the advertisement channel or strategies we are having. So how to optimize those budgets in order to get maximum return for the business. So that is the second thing which MMA model does. Third thing is forecasting. Even after seeing the current performance of the advertisement channels, to see what should be the optimized budget distribution. Even after that, a business would want to see if I make changes in my budget strategies, if I make changes in the distribution of ad budget I'm having in different ad strategies and campaigns, what would be its impact? What would be the ROAS I would be getting? What would be the additional incremental revenue I would be getting? So to do that sort of scenario planning and making the forecast, that is the third use case of MMM. Yeah. Oh, so this side is telling us that what has been a difference in the traditionally MMM is being used and how it is used right now. So as I was mentioning earlier, MMM has been in use since always, like since when the measurements are in place. But up till now, that has been more run more in more conventional manner, which are time consuming, that which needs the help of the specialized agencies who would collect the data and then prepare the data, then run the models manually, and then try to find the accurate models. And then basically, those models would be having limitations in terms of they won't be that much use of the fast-paced technologies, like to deal with the multicollinearity and overfitting, and then the ad stocks and the saturation which would be used would largely be static basically. So it would be time consuming, and the insights which we would be getting from it would take quite some time, and by the time we are able to implement those insights, they might not remain relevant at that time, and further refreshing them would be challenging. Refreshing the model with every new data input coming would be challenging. But with the help of latest techniques and democratizations of ML techniques, we are now able to run model very quickly, and we are able to refresh the models very quickly and get insights, proper insights, by dealing with all the issues in conventional techniques like multicollinearity and all. So how we do that? So basically there is a process. So there is an entire process of doing that, which we would see in the demo itself. I'll start with creating a model. So basically, MMM requires a historical aggregated data to build the model. So the type of data which I'm uploading right now, I'll just quickly show it to you. So data is in the aggregated format. So aggregation can be either the weekly aggregation or daily aggregation. For example, here it's a weekly aggregation that for last 2 years, the weekly data of advertisement spends, all the advertisement spent, be it the online channels or offline channels like TV, radio, billboards, Instagram, anything. Then the engagement for that, which is not a mandatory data, that we need impressions or clicks. If available, we can include in MMM model, otherwise not required. There can be many additional factors which we can feed into MMM model to make it robust. For example, other than advertisement spends, the social media activity which we have for our business, be it the Facebook channel or Facebook group, or be it the YouTube channel, we can include the impressions from that to feed into MMM model and see their impact. Then all the contextual variables like coupon campaigns, discount campaigns, or sales which business has run, ranking of application on the App Store or Play Store, that could be contextual variable. Or if we have the some data on competitor sale, that could be a contextual variable which we can feed into model. So all of this is then mandatory data, but one all of this is the optional data, but one mandatory data is any one KPI for which we want to build MMM model. So whether we want to see the impact of advertisement channels on the revenue, or the visits to the store, or application install, or the new user revenue, anything which a business wants to measure can be the KPI. So like we'll move back. So we upload this file, then we do one-time schema mapping to tell the model that what is what. So for example, we tell that in the file which we have uploaded, what's the date column, what's the KPI which we want to use for this particular model. Then all the ad spend data we can include here, uh, like this. So we can tell that all the platforms we are having ad expenditure on, that could be fed into MMM model. Then similarly, the impressions, clicks, we can include if we have available. Again, it is not mandatory. Then any organic marketing data we have, for example, in this case, social media impressions are there, so that can be included. then any contextual internal or external variable. For example, here we had internally running the coupons campaign, so that could feed into MMM model. After that, we click to configure the model. So there are some contextual variables which are inbuilt by the Lifesight team, that we have seasons and holidays. If a business is known that seasons and holidays impacted, so those variables can be enabled, and then we just create the model. And depending on the data size, it takes 30 to 60 minutes to run a model. And after that, it would be basically ready for getting insights. So for example, this particular model which I just created, training is in progress for that. And once it is ready and we get a model of a high or medium accuracy, then we can use it for getting further insights. For example, I would just show one of the model which I recently run to see what insights we get from MMM. First, what we get is the input data only, that what is the pattern of the input data which we feed it into MMM model, how spend so on various channel has been varying over a period of time. Then what are the overall spend, clicks and impression in the input data. Then this particular one is the telling us how accurate is the model, that we validated it on the same data set which we included in the input data. And we, in this particular case, we are seeing that the actual and the predicted KPI is very close. That means that's why it's having 97% accuracy, and that indicates that this is a very good model and can be used to get insights. So coming to insights, these are the this is the first insight which we get from MMM model, that is the true ROAS. So we did not tell MMM model that what's returned from each ad channel. We just fed the spend we did on ad channel and the total business KPI. Now it's telling us that this particular channel is having this much ROAS, and if it would have been conversions, then it would have told us CPA as well. And it is also telling for each share of spend what is share of revenue. And this graph can tell us if, let's say, for a particular platform, share of spend is quite higher than the share of revenue, then it would indicate that channel is not is underperforming and we may need to adjust the budgets. Similarly, in the next curve, which is incremental revenue or baseline, so as we all know that every business is having some baseline, that there is a share of revenue which would be coming to the business irrespective of the ad channels. So MMM does a good job at identifying that and finding that baseline, and tells us that over and above the baseline, what is the incremental conversions or incremental revenue which ad channels are bringing to us. So which is tabulated, same is tabulated in this table. If you see that this particular data set which we uploaded for a demo business, that there is a baseline of 44%. So 40%, 44% of revenue would have come to this business even without ad channels. And on top of this 44%, 10% is contributed by this particular channel, and so on, 12% by YouTube, like that. So we are getting what is the exact incremental contribution of each paid advertisement channel, and what is the true ROAS from that channel. And accordingly, we can use it to see which is performing good for us and which is not performing that well. There's also one more module with the MMM, that is a budget optimizer. So as I was telling, other than getting the ROAS and the incremental conversion insights, we also can use MMM for budget optimization. So basically, in this particular case, it is telling that for next week. So basically, this is average weekly budget for past 1 month. That is $38,459. And if we redistribute this budget as per the findings of MMM, there would be some increase in the incremental revenue. So basically, to get maximum return, MMM is suggesting that the same total budget, which is 38,459, we can redistribute among the platforms like this. So this is current budget and this is recommended budget. And we get an additional incremental revenue. So here currently we are getting 81,559, and by doing the redistribution, we can get 86,558. So, and in turn, it is leading to an higher ROAS from 2.12 to 2.25. So this is just by doing the redistribution based on the pattern which we have found in the MMM model. Then we can also do some scenario planning, that we can analyze different scenarios. Let's say if we want to in the future, next week or next month, we want to target a higher budget, let's say 10% higher budget we want to target. So MMM can tell us that where we should be investing that additional 10% to get maximum returns. So every time we run a scenario, we it would use the MMM model which we have built and suggest us that what should be the optimum distribution among the marketing platforms where we would get the maximum return. So here we are seeing that we increased from 38,000 to 42,000, and incremental revenue increased from 81 to 90,000, and we have maintained the ROAS in that process. So for in this particular scenario, if the goal of the business is to get some incremental return, to increase the budgets and to scale up basically, so this is a good scenario that without getting a hit on ROS, we can increase the budget and can get additional revenue. But there might be some businesses who are not looking at increasing budget, but they want to optimize their ROS. So they may, let's say, want to target a higher ROS. For example, let's say 2.25 from 2.15. So MMM would be telling that whether it's feasible to get that ROS, and if what should we do to get that ROS, how we should be readjusting the budgets so that with minimum hit on the revenue, we can reach up to that ROS level. So here we are seeing that we have achieved that ROS or required target ROS of 2.25. But in order to do that, we had to reduce the budgets from 38,000 to 32,000. So and revenue would in turn decrease from 81 to 72,000. So like that, we can use MMM model to do the scenario planning, that we can try different scenarios of budgets, increasing the budget, reducing the budget, and same on the ROS and CPA, and see what should be the distribution of budgets, and then download those as worksheets that would help us in making decisions for the business on the budget decisions. Like we have been working with various customers on using MMM model, and this is a particular case study of one of the skincare brand which came to us with the target of reducing CPA for their meta advertisements. So what we built, we connected with their Facebook ads account directly and automatically fetched data from them, and then built MMM models on that, helped them in building MMM models. And we once we build an MMM model of very high accuracy, we used it to get the insights and then run budget optimizer module on that. And using that, doing the scenario planning, trying different scenarios, they were able to achieve a 32% reduction in the CPA, and the 17% reduction in increase in ROS. So using that, we reallocated 15% of meta budgets to other channels, so in turn, which helped in turn increasing the overall revenue. So like the same process which I was mentioning earlier, that can be used by doing trying different scenarios and getting true ROS from channels, and with the same budget itself, just by redistribution, we can achieve our target KPI in that way.
Yep. Thank you, Shubham. I think one more thing to add is that a lot of this numbers that you see here, right, agencies and consultants would take a long time, and even businesses would take a long time to able to realize that they could use this with their existing models, right? And here we are with our measure solution, providing this right within some time of gathering all that historical data and building models. And within a week's time, you could start, analyzing your models and reallocating your budgets and immediately start getting more business uh, in. So this is something as a power. This is something, as we mentioned, that's how modern MMM works. And also with the power of our data module also, which is Lifesight Connect, we could provide automatic data flowing in to the model, right? So that it could improve over time and become more intelligent and customized for making sure that the business outcomes can be realized in real time. And whenever the key stakeholders want to make sure that they want to make some changes to get more business in, right? So with that, Deepak, let's start with, when do we use multi-touch attribution?
So the main thing to remember here is when you like to track individual customer journeys or groups of customer journeys, that's when you go for the MTA solution, right? With this, we show you all the different paths that any given customer takes on their way to a purchase. We let you track your return on ad spend and CAC values for new and existing customers from the channel level all the way up to the ad level. So that's channel, campaign, ad group, and ad, right? And an attribution as a whole is it's actually an amazing tool to make short-term changes um, to your ad spend, and you can use this across all channels just by integrating them to the Lifesight platform. Now, for the strategy part and for I guess bigger decisions, that's where we shift to MM.
In MMM, it can be a single source of truth in a way that we could have all type of advertisement channel, be it the online channels, offline channel, influencer marketing, all of that. We can factor in the MMM model. Then we can use the other things other than the marketing activities as well, any internal or external contextual variables and impact of them we can measure using MMM. Then so in overall, while attribution helps in us in the day-to-day decision making, MMM can help us in short term and mid term or long term planning, doing the scenario planning, making some predictions, optimizing budgets, and so on. Yeah.
Yes. So primarily also just to end there is a lot of marketers when they want to do yearly planning and also show, that we're gonna achieve this for the business. MMM and incrementality experiments could provide you better data to confidently speak about how you're going to do that for the business, and that could also help the business stakeholders reach out to their upper layers and also speak that this is how we've achieved it, and that's how we can achieve this more with more budgets flowing in, or how we can optimize the existing budgets to get more revenue into the business. So with that, we will end this particular demo. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining in. Hope you loved this entire session on not just what multi-touch attribution and MMM is, but how in LifeSet we are able to productize this. We are able to bring this real time. We are able to save a lot of cost and also make more money for digital businesses moving forward. So we are on a mission with LifeSite Measure to make sure that every ad dollar that you spend or you're looking to spend, it will yield profit for your business. Right. So with that, we'll come to the end of the demo. For any of you looking for any personalized demo, feel free to go to lifesite.io/demo. We'll be happy to speak with you, understand more about your problems, and see which solution of ours would really provide you immediate value. And we'll be happy to work with you to help your business grow. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Have a great day. Have a great week.